Hey, how's it going? Hope I find you well. What I wanted to talk about today, talk about, whatever. I guess it's not really talking, this is a pretty one-sided conversation. Anyhow, what I wanted to tell you about today is just like your beliefs and how they shape everything. I know before I started meditating, I didn't really examine what my beliefs were, like how I thought the world worked and how my place in it, and etc., etc. And then I started meditating, and I realized I had all these beliefs about myself and my place in the world, etc., etc. And the thing is, they're only valid because I believe they're true. They're not actually valid at all. They're nothing. They only come into existence because I bring them into existence. For example, one of the things that was really holding me back was I was kind of on track with my life. I was moving towards what I thought my goal was, etc., etc. And then I got knocked on my ass. Absolutely just KO'd. And it set me back a lot because I had to recover from the knockout. And then after I'd recovered, I had this, and this wasn't conscious at all. Like, I just realized this like a year after it happened. 2 years. It took me 2 years to realize this, but the KO knocked me back. So what happened was I had this internalized belief, again, totally subconscious, that I needed to take a huge step forward to get back on track. I needed to take a giant step forward to get back on track. Again, this was totally subconscious. I had no idea I thought this. And it's ridiculous, I know. But because of that, I wasn't taking small steps, because I would look at my option and I'd be like, hey, that isn't the giant step I need to take. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait for the giant step. And again, this was all totally subconscious. But the thing is, like, you can't always take giant steps. If I would have taken all those small steps I could have taken, it would have been a giant step. It would have been several giant steps. But instead, I had this internalized belief that I needed to take a giant step and a small step would not do. So I didn't take those small steps. Stagnated. I mean, not totally. I was still moving forward in some areas, but mostly stagnant. It was ridiculous. And another belief I picked up somewhere was that I can't do it. I'm not good enough. But that's the thing. That's a self-perpetuating belief. If you believe you're not good enough, because of my failures. My belief was I was not good enough because I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't doing the things I thought I should be doing in my life, like, being in shape or successful business, etc., etc. But that's the thing. So I believed I wasn't good enough because I wasn't doing these things. So because I believed I wasn't good enough, I didn't do these things. And downward freaking spiral. It's so ridiculous. Like, you need to start meditating. You need to start meditating. You need to take time to be by yourself. You need to start journaling, because otherwise you're not going to catch this stuff. Like, if I wouldn't have caught that small step, if I wouldn't have caught that belief that I thought I needed to take a giant step forward, I don't know where I would have hit rock bottom. Like, that's the thing. That tiny little belief, if I kept believing that, it would have gone on until I absolutely needed to drop it. It would have gone on that long. It would have gone on until I was like almost on, like, I wasn't even taking a job. It was ridiculous. So that belief probably would have taken me until I was basically on the street, or maybe on the street. And it's ridiculous. It's so, like, that one tiny little belief could have ruined everything. But I caught it, thankfully, because I was meditating. And you need to do the same, because it will destroy you. It will cause mediocrity. You need to identify your beliefs. And that's the thing to remember too, though. Once you've been meditating and journaling for a while, like, you don't realize these things while you're doing these things necessarily. Like, I didn't realize that when I was meditating. I was actually watching a sappy movie, and it hit me. But it was because I'd been meditating and facing my truth, etc., that I was able to, that came up. Anyhow, start meditating. Identify your beliefs. And remember that they're just beliefs. Most of the time. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if I drop my phone right now, it's gonna fall. That's a belief. And, well, that's a whole nother esoteric argument. But most 99% of beliefs are only true because you believe them. That's absolutely it. As always, onward and upward.